training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready.
Team, welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I'm Weezy Shoemaker. I'm joined, as always, by Justin McClintock. And today, Justin will be telling us about the mental side of rehab.
That's correct. I think this is actually this is well timed because you don't know this, but I started physical therapy yesterday
Oh, for your shoulder.
for my shoulder. I had
Yeah.
a cool experience. So I thought this would be
Okay.
useful to chat about if you're interested in this, unless you wanted to go somewhere wildly different.
No, this is your episode. Let's go.
So this is just like a thing I wanted to talk about anyway.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
had like my shoulder's been like up and down and like generally tending in the right direction. Pretty
Sure.
good. Little frustrating. Couldn't quite figure out what was wrong with it. It's a little tendony. It's a little nervy. It's a little muscular. Very deep pain. Weird things irritate it. And then I was going to back squat the other day, a few days ago. It was probably Saturday or something. And put my hands on the bar, locked in, went under. Oh, of note, I had put my sweatshirt hood up because I had noticed when I was warming up with an empty bar that the bar on my back on the folded up sweatshirt hood, I just didn't feel like I had a good enough connection to the bar. It was like having a pad there. I was like, well, that's no good.
Oh,
So
no,
I put my hood on,
Justin.
bar on my back. Okay, that feels great. I think that's relevant because I had 225 on the bar or something. And on my way under the bar, I think for the first time in my life, I hit my head on the barbell. Like the top of my head collided with the barbell. Something about that jammed my shoulder in such a way that I collapsed on the ground, screaming in pain, like alone in a locked garage, just like howling.
Oh, my God.
I did get it on camera, but legit, the only reason I haven't already shared it with you is because it isn't funny. It's a bummer. Like,
It's just
it is
bad.
just someone in genuine pain. You're like, it's not actually, like, I
This
didn't like
is not
fall in a
entertaining.
pool. There's not a whoopie pie involved or anything. And that was
There's no banana peel.
yeah, that was like a 9 or 10 out of 10 pain wise, and lasted for a while. Took me a while to like gather myself and put things away and all of that. I was like,
Right.
okay, well, that's a major setback, and this thing hasn't been progressing fast enough anyway. And I feel like I need someone to put their hands on me. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I need more than someone who can watch me move and measure stuff. I need someone to like get in and figure out what's going on. So I went to
Right.
a physical therapist, found out they were in network, close enough for me to get to pretty easily. Great. I went in for my initial consult and asked a bunch of questions. They were measuring, and they had the little protractor thing out and the dynamometer
Sure.
and measuring strength in all these different ways and all this. And
Right.
how's that feel? How's that feel? Very thorough, taking lots of notes, was open to my questions and being a little bit of an anatomy, fitness dork. And we're like 45 minutes in. And the nice man, Jesse, his name's Jesse, he was a delight, just taking all his notes, and he's just sitting there looking at me, looking at the thing, looking at me. You really don't fit neatly in any box. You just don't. We've even done some like pretty specialized tests thus far, and it's like halfway here, but would it be okay with you if I brought in another colleague? Yeah. And he went and got
Yeah.
another PT, and he read all my stuff, and did a bunch more tests, and they did stuff side by side, and then came to an agreement that I have some posterior capsule impingement syndrome. When he said, you don't fit in a box, would it be okay if I consulted with somebody else? Like, and I said this to him out loud. I said, not only yes, but not for nothing, this is building an enormous amount of trust. Because what I was worried about, like, the place had good reviews and they were close by and they'd been open for a long time and seemed to have, smart people there. But what I was worried about is I was going to walk in, spend 3 minutes with a physical therapist, get passed off to a tech, do 4 generic stretches, and get sent home with rotator cuff stuff. Now, it is rotator cuff stuff, but it's very particular rotator cuff stuff.
Right.
And going through all of these things, trying to figure out what it is, and not just saying, close enough, it's this.
It's got to be this.
Yeah, but realizing like, I'm kind of stumped. And I also told him, not for nothing, this makes me feel better because I've been trying to solve this and it's tough. He's like, oh, yeah, doing this alone would be, yeah, I don't know.
On
Yeah,
yourself. Nah.
yeah, exactly. Because it's all so back there. So there's a bunch of like reverse internal distractions, but not letting your scap translate at all. And then doing stuff forward and not letting like your humerus translate at all in the shoulder capsule. And all
Yeah.
these little tiny things. So that was a very
Yeah.
positive experience. And I'm going to go for a little while. Obviously, I'm not better yet. It's only been a couple days or 2 days,
Yeah.
but it was uh, as ever, like I'm a big supporter of physical therapy and good physical therapists. And that was a very
Yeah.
positive experience.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
delighted to hear that.
Yeah. Me too.
That
I
sounds
was
like a
absolutely
really,
braced for
really
bad.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you know where the road goes.
100%. And he's been not flattering me, but very open to, so you've got stuff at home. If I say, you know, quadruped scap push up, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Show me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. But because of this, we want to change this technique ever so slightly. So
Right.
like
Sick.
take this thoracic part out of it and do that. And I don't think it's flattering. It's just like we can talk a little bit faster because I know what he's after.
Yeah.
So it's also
Right.
kind of fun.
Yeah. It is fun. That's excellent. I had my own medical interaction this week.
Indeed.
Um that I'm angry. I'm not angry
Yeah.
at
Less
them.
satisfying to be sure.
I don't know. We're moving in the right direction. I know you're saying that because you already know what's going on. So I have shared a little bit on the podcast already that there has been some reproductive and uterine issues that have been true the duration of my life. And finally, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all the things, have encountered a practitioner who's willing to dig into what is actually going on rather than saying, like, well, does birth control it? And can we just do that forever? Like, yes, I understand that there are people that are happy to do that. And some of them likely listen to this, and that's not a poo poo on you. And I'm not satisfied by that. Like, I want to know exactly when I'm going through perimenopause, and that's not possible if your cycle is being medically managed for you,
Yeah.
right? Um, so I had some scans this week, and excellent news, like really positive news. I don't have any cysts. I don't have any polyps. The muscle wall of my uterus looks totally normal, which is something that they were concerned about, maybe having adenomyosis, which is
Mhm.
like endometrial tissue growing inside the muscle wall of the uterus. It's a pretty nasty
No
and
good.
difficult to remedy thing. Um, nothing looks wrong with my uterus or my ovaries or the immediate surrounding area. Like, excellent, that's great. So then the needle points to a bleeding disorder being the likely thing, and we already have a hematology referral scheduled. A specific protein that is not often tested came up really, really low for me. And I am angry at the full history of my life and communicating, hey, I think my bleeding is heavier than it should be. And bringing that up at postpartum appointments and knowing how much blood I lost in birth both times. And the reaction was always, well, you're not passing clots, right? Like, just if the clot is smaller than a thumb or early postpartum a golf ball,
Right.
we're in a good space. Okay, well, what if I like I
Yeah, you're in
have
a
a
good
clotting
space if
disorder.
it's this. It's not this thing because we're not passing clots. That's good.
Right.
This is
Right.
still a lot of bleeding.
This is still a lot of bleeding and um learning to advocate for yourself in a medical setting is an acquired skill. Um, and you also have to have a practitioner who's open to that in the first place, which I am confident Rebecca is, but there are a lot of doctors who are not willing for people to advocate for themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just frustrating to me that, as a young woman starting my menstrual cycle, there was never an explanation from anybody in my life, a friend, a parent, a doctor, a teacher, the nurse, nobody on like, hey, what's normal?
That it
And
wasn't talked about. That was something that really, because
yeah,
we've chatted about this, like the fact that you didn't realize that you were maybe a significant outlier in some aspects for years, simply
yeah,
because it was never either not known or kind of refused to be talked about.
right. Yeah. And, there were several doctors who listened to like, oh yeah, got it. Your bleeding is really heavy. Let's just put you on the pill. Oh, great. Did that manage it? Okay, awesome. Yeah, we don't need to dig any further. And then figuring out like, oh, well, maybe I've had a bleeding disorder my entire life and nobody thought to like look at this.
Right.
Um, so grateful that we have maybe a next step. Um, hopeful that this is it so that we don't have to like keep looking for zebras.
Hmm.
Um, and knowing that I'll be better to able to advocate for my children because it's likely I have it. So do
Yeah.
they. And while neither of them will menstruate, they might decide to at some point partner with somebody and procreate who does.
Yeah.
And it would be really great if I could prepare that person that, hey, if you have a daughter, this might come up.
Yeah.
And I just want you to be aware of that.
Yeah. 100%. It's so, another thing I thought about and I didn't share with you, but thinking this through is that, you really want the information about kind of what it is you can take next steps,
Yeah.
but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like you're hyper fixated on getting a diagnosis,
No, I'm
but you're
not.
like, oh, it's probably something to do with a bleeding disorder might be enough if we can understand next steps, as
Right.
opposed to needing to get in like, oh, well, it's, this syndrome version
Right.
A, like, and now I can go join this symptom version A Facebook group and tell all the people about how pain meds don't work and they should just take turmeric or something.
Right.
But you feel like you've kind of been significantly delayed from being able to solve the problem in a way that satisfies you due to a dearth of information or kind of being ignored.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've always also been borderline anemic.
Hmm.
Like either anemic or very, very close. And so my whole life it's been like, well, yeah, do you eat plenty of red meat and can you supplement with iron? And um none of those have ever made a difference. And so, like I'll take an iron supplement for 6 months and it doesn't sit well in my stomach. It gives me some digestive upset and I notice no difference in a menstrual cycle. Okay, sick. I'm not going to keep doing this. It's not moving the needle in any kind of meaningful way for me. Is there anything else we can look at? No, sorry.
Right. That's where it
That's
falls
the
down. Like,
best
I'm
answer.
anemic. It seems I'm anemic. You should supplement with iron. That's honestly reasonable. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
let's not make it more complicated than it needs to be. We don't need to run batteries of tests where they aren't suggested. Oh, wait, you did the thing that should solve it and it didn't move the needle at all. We should actually look at this a little more closely because
right.
what the heck is going on?
Right. Yeah. So, not sad, angry for my
Yeah.
experience and grateful to have somebody who is willing to say like, "Huh, this is not normal. We're going to figure it out."
Yeah,
Um
exactly.
So, but yeah, not like hyper fixated on like what is this? What is the
Yeah.
specific protein? What are the optimal levels? And I'm gonna make my whole identity about this.
Yeah.
Like
Which
that's
is the
not it.
thing.
It
Like,
is a thing.
I know
It's
we're being
easy to
flippant, but
do.
people like become their diagnosis
Yeah.
so fast and it becomes the thing they're about and the thing you learn
Yeah.
about in the first 30 seconds talking to them.
Right.
You're
If
like,
if you've been on TikTok recently, you've probably encountered one of these.
yes. Like, how do I not know your last name, but I know all about your hypermobility? Like, hypermobility is a thing. This is weird.
This is a choice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that segues kind of nicely into our topic for today because it really is the mental side of what is often medical/medical bleeding into fitness care.
Yeah.
And it's
Great.
and the construct here, I call it the mental side of rehab, and it's the psychological barriers and obstacles that come along with what is typically just looked at as physical barriers.
Mm,
So someone gets hurt. Someone gets hurt reasonably badly enough that they physical therapy is their first stop. Maybe it's post-surgery, maybe it's trauma, maybe it's chronic pain, maybe something's just been hurting for several months and they do something stupid on a back squat and they're finally like, oh, fine. Okay, here we go. They go to PT, they do PT. It's somewhere between okay and amazing. They graduate PT. Awesome. They've been cleared to return to activity. And, often with like a take it easy or move with intolerance or things like that. And we often talk about how being physically cleared from PT doesn't mean you're physically cleared for the rest of your life for everything you want to do. Just because you can walk down the stairs and bathe yourself and feed yourself doesn't necessarily mean that pickleball is a great idea the next day. Maybe, but maybe not. Additionally to those, the being physically cleared, they're not mentally cleared. And people, especially coming out of a physical therapy type setting, and this isn't piling on PTs, it's just kind of a generic lane of rehab. Frequently, people are terrified to load the bar, hit top speed, move dynamically. They're in this like gray zone. And I didn't coin this, but I read it somewhere once. They're in the zone between clearance and confidence.
Yeah.
So they don't need, on paper, they've checked all the boxes. You don't need medical care anymore. But you are scared to do the stuff that is going to get you further and the things that you used to kind of want and love to do.
Right.
So marrying this mindset with the physical symptoms and some education to create confidence and freedom, I think is a major part of kind of post rehab or the rest of rehab or whatever it is you and I do. I know we don't do rehab, but we often take people from, I don't need rehab, but I can't do what I want to do, into everything else.
We take them often from clear to confident.
Yep, exactly. And there's a couple milestones, and we've talked about versions of this before. Certainly offline, we've talked about this a lot. I feel like we've covered this a bit on the pod, but there's sort of stops or major big rocks that need to be dealt with. The first one that usually comes up, I don't know if it's the most important, but it's a big one, is the fear avoidance model. So someone gets hurt, they have some kind of injury, trauma, whatever, it leads to pain. Oh, it hurts when I do this. That leads to fear of movement. They don't want to move, or they don't want to move fast, or they don't want to put their arm over their head because it hurts when that happens. So that leads to avoidance. That's the fear avoidance. The avoidance leads to deconditioning, atrophy, weakness. That leads to a heightened disability. That leads to more fear. So now you're stuck in this nasty cycle where, oh, I got hurt, so I'm scared. Okay, I'm going to move less because I'm really afraid of that pain again. Moving less actually makes you weaker, more fragile, less vital, more susceptible to getting hurt again. You feel pain and twinges, and you move less and less and less and keep withdrawing.
Right. Yeah. And it's really sneaky to notice this if you're the person in it.
Yeah, it's hard. And it doesn't necessarily happen fast. It can sneak up on you. And like, oh, well, I was doing it, like I noticed it. So I'll put that out there. But like, I've put my jacket on differently for the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I used to throw my arm behind me and just whip it on. I don't do that anymore. Now I hold the sleeve out and punch it through, because reaching behind me has hurt enough times, not every time, but it hurt enough that I don't want to do it anymore. But if I don't, and now I have 8 different exercises I'm doing every day that are basically versions of reaching behind me, because I have to get stronger there, or else it's just going to get worse.
Right. I remember this being the point at which I decided to hire a coach. That coach ended up being you. Was I like to coach with my hands behind my back.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, hey, add attention. And I couldn't do that comfortably. And I started having to like either put my hands in front of me, which I thought looked bizarre, or in my pockets, which I hate the message that sends, or like cross-armed, like,
none of these are good options.
Displeased. None of these are good options. So it's time to stop avoiding the shoulder issue. I need some external support.
Yeah, 100%. And another part of that fear avoidance, and this is something you and I spend a lot of time on, is teaching people the difference between actual painful tissue and movement and the threat response from their nervous system. Like,
Yeah, which is so hard for people to understand because they just
huge.
associate like pain bad,
Mhm.
pain not good, pain mean hurt, pain mean scary things. When in fact, like exactly to your point, pain can be the body trying to keep you safe from something that it deems stressful or threatening when there's no issue there at all. And so understanding, hey, when is pain helpful versus when is it actually telling me, hey, yo, ease off, you're not prepared for this, is such a crucial part of the work that we do with people. Most people, when they're not working with a qualified professional, whether it's a PT, whether it's an ortho, whether it's an active life professional, whether it's another version of a coach that's trained in pain management, when they're not equipped with the tools to understand this delineation, they will usually do a rep and decide, no, that doesn't feel good today. I'm going to move on. Oh,
And the coach accepts that,
friends.
or whomever
Right.
the professional is accepts that.
Right. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
if they're like worst case scenario is they're training by themselves, following either something that they wrote or template and just being like, well, I guess I can't squat this cycle.
exactly. So when something like I have a whole thing written out, but I know you know this too and do this all the time. If and when that happens, some comes
Yeah.
in and whatever. Let's stop talking about me. Like their hip has been hurting for a while, and so they're scared of squatting. You
Mhm.
you do some screening and assessments. You determine that this person can definitely squat to at least 90 degrees, and that's an excellent place to start.
Mhm.
They do some kind of a squat to around 90 degrees and pull out of it, flinch, drop the weight, get out of the load, whatever it is, and say, "Ooh, no, no, that doesn't feel good." What do you do as a coach? What do you do?
I say, I hear you. Let's leave the weight right where it is. Can I have you stand up? And then as slowly as your body will tolerate, let's put a box here so that you have something that you can like orient to that's tactile. As slowly as you can, kiss the box and then rise up again as slowly as you can. Can we do that for 2 or 3? And then if they're like, "Well, I just told you I wanted to move on. Do you plan to use the bathroom today?" "Yes." "Okay, great. We should make sure that this is an okay movement and that we can help you get there in ways that feel good to you." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense." Right? Like you drove here. You're going to have to get into more hip flexion than we're in right now. So, can we try? Right? And if somebody, I mean, hopefully with everybody that's coming through that maybe at the point that we might be doing this anyway, we've gone through some education where
Mhm.
they already understand, hey, this is going to happen. The next couple of reps give us really, really valuable feedback. And so there's going to be times when I ask you to do something that feels like maybe a little scary to you. We're not
100%.
going to rip your tendons in half
Right.
with 4 squats to a box. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Because this isn't about strength building per se, this part of it.
No.
This is about the therapy world often calls this graded exposure. So
Mhm.
we're trying to like kind of progressively ish expose them to what is the smallest version of this we could do. Like
Yeah.
the smallest range of motion with the least amount of weight. And this is of course on a scale. It kind of everything has a progression and a regression all the way up and all the way down.
Right.
But if they're squatting a 10-pound dumbbell and they feel a shooting pain, it's like, okay, we're going to stop. We're going to slow it down. We're going to change or limit the range of motion. We're going to lower
Mhm.
the weight. We're probably going to involve some breath work slash desensitization slash some an attempt for us to get in there, kind of flip some nervous switches off.
Right.
That might be breathwork stuff. That might be like static holds. Might be um, a resisting push pull kind of thing to
Right.
like just
What
turn
happens if
some of
we
the
hold the
switches off.
band? Right.
Exactly. If all of that happens, I will swap out the movement. But that means like, oh, maybe this is real. Like I'm very surprised that this hurts, but maybe something is going on with that tissue. But
Yeah.
overwhelmingly, we take it through those steps of that kind of graded exposure cycle, and
Right.
things are better. And it starts teaching the nervous system that, oh, actually, this is okay. Oh, I
Right.
can go to 90 degrees. I had a client once where we had a gym, really useful. had these stackable IKEA boxes. They're like
Mm,
14 inches by 8 inches, white plastic. They're probably a foot high or something like that. They're
yeah.
just like, here's a thing you can stand on. And they had a whole bunch of them because we found them useful. You could stack as many as you needed, and short people
Mm,
could get up to pull-up bars. You could use them. I use them for obstacle courses. And I loved those for graded exposure squatting because I'd be
yeah.
like, okay, we're squatting to 9 boxes. Okay, now we're squatting to 8 boxes. That's half an inch lower. And you could literally just like tiny, 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 tiny. And they were very
Yeah.
solid. You could sit and stand on them. And then it's so much easier to say, well, we're only going half an inch lower than you did last week. Do you
Right.
think that sounds like a reasonable progression? Oh, yeah, I think
Right.
that does. Excellent. We're not going to go lower, even if it feels great. And then more and more and more. And
Right.
after a relatively short period of time, we're squatting the way we want to squat.
Right. Yeah. Because the tissue was never the problem. It was the threat that our body was interpreting by not feeling secure in that situation. And so the way that we have to accomplish the thing that we want to accomplish is not by just gritting our teeth and saying like, "Oh yeah, this is all in your brain, just like squat to parallel with your goblet." No, we have to teach and show the brain, "Hey, you're safe here. You can control this."
Yeah, I think that's a great point because this isn't about conscious fear, right?
Yeah.
Like
No,
telling
people are
someone to suck
generally
it
not,
up
"No, this
and
doesn't
grit
feel
it. You
scary."
can't. Yeah, you
You
can't
can't.
grit it out through your nervous system freaking out on you. Like that is your
Right.
subconscious. It's your sympathetic nervous system. It's not going to work. We have lots of tools and tricks for adjusting things, but be brave isn't the way through this. Sadly, often a thing that I will use with people, not everyone, but especially people who've been training for a while, I found this really successful, is visualization. Like, what does
Hmm.
it look like to you when you go through a squat? What do you look like? What does it feel like on the ground? What like all like have them, sit on a chair and just talk me through it. Okay,
Mhm.
how's that feel? When does it start going wrong? Okay. Stand up in your mind. What would you do differently? Oh, that adjustment makes sense to me. Okay, just watch yourself do it in your mind. And this can be, usually under 2 minutes, right? We're not doing a 45-minute journaling session about how one might squat. But that little bit of visualization, their brain goes through it a couple of times and starts thinking of it as a safer place to be and not
Mm,
a goddamn emergency, which whenever they got hurt or whatever the pain was, taught them that it was an emergency.
right. This reminds me a lot of the episode that we did on digestion,
Mm,
where if we're not thinking about that we're about to be eating, we're actually not producing the right quantities of enzymes to
mhm.
optimally digest, right? Think of the visualization for somebody that's experiencing this acute pain response as like hey, I'm thinking about my food so that I can get the right juices flowing.
Yep, 100%. The I know if people are out there and they don't believe the visualization, I understand it does work. You do have to buy into it to make it work, right? If you tell me you're visualizing it and just sitting there and cats are meowing in your head, it won't work. Meow, meow, meow. Um, Small thing that helps, and people can do this for themselves. I certainly suggest coaches do this, is sandwiching either the movements, the elements that are going to be tough, and or the entire session with things that are going to be wins. I want to
Yeah.
start with something and end with something. Definitely end with something that is going to be awesome. I
Yeah.
generally try not to end with this is going to be a fucking bummer and definitely be uncomfortable. And there's a reasonably high chance that you are going to feel like some version of a failure if you let your self talk go too negative.
Yeah. This sounds like the compliment sandwich with
Kind of,
critique.
yeah. Like, I'm going to do all these like boring shoulder things. I'm definitely squatting, doing a bunch of shoulder stuff, and then getting a sick arm pump.
Right.
And I'm going to walk out feeling pretty good. And it's okay.
Yeah. I actually did this without even thinking about it for
Yeah.
myself earlier this week. Um, because as I've been playing pickleball more and training the a little less,
Uh-huh.
like down to 2 days a week from three.
Mhm.
And the session that I usually skip is the one that I don't want to do.
Shocker.
Um, Shocker. my hips have been making a little more noise, particularly in like lateral shifts, which is a problem when you're playing pickleball. And so rather than do the session that I did not want to do, I picked out, okay, like what's the most important thing here? And I'm going to sandwich this with two things that I really, really enjoy on the front and back end that are not programmed today. Because I
Mhm.
know this is going to like trick me into doing the thing that I
Yeah.
don't really want to do, but that I know is going to move the needle.
Yeah, I love that. And the other stuff, like it's okay to do that. Like
Yeah.
when the big indulgent treat you're doing is pull-ups, like it's okay. Like it's great. We're not,
It's
and
fine.
this would also be okay in some situations, but you're not like stopping eating half of a pie, going doing your adductions and lateral shuffles and closed chain hip locks and another half of a pie. What a great session.
Right. What a great session. No, that's
That
not what we're
also
talking
sounds
about.
awesome though.
We, specifically what it looked like for me was, well, I guess I'll walk with the Eras Tour on because that
Mhm.
sounds really good. And then I'll do the hip stuff that I don't really want to do. And then I'll end with like some sick arm pump stuff
Mhm.
that like I feel really hyped about. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dope.
Solid.
Got it done.
Love it.
It worked. Easy.
Got it done.
Another small thing, and I've done this a bunch, especially with people who are really smart, and people who are really analytical. Sometimes those are overlap. Not all analytical people are brilliant. Not all brilliant people are analytical. Some people are both. Some people are neither.
Which am
Um,
I?
so cute, just so cute. The the
The
using internal cues versus external cues to kind of fill up your brain and give it something else to do, right? They like
Mm,
don't push the floor away. I want you to squeeze your glutes as hard as you can on the way up. And it
mm,
makes your brain like, what am I paying attention to? Oh, I'm not paying attention to what every half inch feels like as I rise out of this squat. I'm now paying 100% attention to how hard can I squeeze my butt. Is that
sure.
useful for a good squat? Yes, it is. Am I also trying to run interference with your brain? 100%.
100%.
Yeah. This will be
Yeah.
me. If you ever get the good luck to see me coach at like an Olympic lifting meet or powerlifting or something like that, I get
Uh-huh.
powerlifting less so because they're so loud. Olympic lifting is weird because everyone's so quiet, right?
They're so quiet.
The nature of Olympic lifting is everyone gets really quiet.
It's like golf.
It's so like golf because it's run by incredibly old white guys. And I understand, but I kind of have problems with the way that a lot of Olympic lifting culture is, but that's the way that it is.
Sure.
However, if you are the coach, like on the side of that person's platform when they're lifting, you're kind of allowed to do whatever you want. And I will get
Yeah.
so fucking loud because it's easy. People who are really experienced, even this happens to, right?
Uh-huh.
They traveled, they got to a place, the hotel was okay, but it wasn't great. They weigh in went fine, but they were iffy. They've been rehydrating, they've been warming
Yeah.
up in a different place with different people, and everything's weird. And now they're on a platform in front of judges who wear these weird suit coats with a bunch of patches and an
Yep.
audience people staring at them, and they start getting in
Everyone's
their own
looking.
head about thinking everything else. So I'm trying to punch through everything else that's going on and give them the cue that I care about. Right.
Right.
And I will scream my head off and people stare at me, but I will get very, very, very loud because I want to be the only thing in your ears so you can't think about anything else.
Love that. That's
It's fun.
incredible. That
I make a scene.
that reminds me of Amy Everett.
Oh yeah,
Everett?
sure. Is that who you're
I don't
talking
know how
about?
to say her last name. Yes. The Catalyst
Yeah,
Athletics.
Everett.
Mhm. Um and she's gotten some like public hate for it, particularly at the really, really high levels. And she and Maddie Rogers both get like kind of a bad rap for how loud and overbearing and like blah 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 they are. But hey, if it works and she's like a fucking Olympian,
Yeah,
sick.
And it's at that moment, you get 1 minute, you get 60 seconds. It's your platform and your platform only. I'm not
Yeah.
doing it on the warm up platforms. I'm not doing it from the
Right.
audience. I'm not doing
Right.
it like none of that. I am so quiet and respectful until my athlete is there. And then
Right.
this is our time. And I have been brought here exclusively to coach this person. I'm not trying to ruin anyone else's experience, but only
Right.
one person is lifting weight right now. So I don't feel
Right.
bad about it.
I'm not gonna let them become a deer in the headlights if I have absolutely anything to say about it.
No. And I'm certainly not going to let my wanting to play nice or impress anyone else subsume the responsibility I have taken on to this person, right?
Right.
The whole job is to make this go as well as it possibly can, given whatever other factors are happening for this person. If this is part of it, then I will simply do that. I don't really care. I haven't been
I
thrown
love
out yet.
that. I love that. I love that.
Um, Other kind of mindset, mental stuff that I think is useful. Focusing on kind of wins slash good enough and not perfection.
Mm-hmm.
You and I
Yes.
talk about this a lot, but doing
Mm-hmm.
it pretty well, and especially if you're doing it pretty well and it used to be something we couldn't do, like
Mm.
stop, celebrate, that's amazing, high five. And if the person doing it isn't also celebrating and high fiving, it's not my job to convince them that this is something to celebrate, because it is.
Right.
And this is
Yeah.
a big benchmark. We need to celebrate the wins because also we're probably going to have flare ups and setbacks.
Right. I wonder if this is true for you. I know that this has been true for me in my experience, that coaches have a really hard time with this, like coaches as clients.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they're terrible at it. It's never good enough. And
Right. It's never good enough.
I found this with a bunch of like medical professionals, movement specialists, things like that. Like like for the shoulder example, like someone's shoulder hurts terribly. Fast forward 12 weeks and we're doing pull-ups. And they're like,
Right.
yeah, I kind of hitched on the way up. I don't know.
And
Bro,
you're like, could you
you
take a step back? Because you couldn't put your arms over your head 12 weeks ago. Can you like shut the fuck up and smile for a second?
you couldn't put a cup away in a cabinet and you're back to doing strict pull-ups in under 3 months. I think I want you to like be put in glass as a modern miracle and me to get a halo put over my head. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. I wish it was
I don't
better.
know. It wasn't
Like,
as good as it could be.
right. And everything can always be better. That's the other, like, spoiler, there's not a finish line. So find the wins and celebrate them because you aren't actually ever done.
I think you are hot on that topic per the reel that you posted today, which at time of release will be 8 weeks ago.
A number of weeks ago. Yeah. My little angel who came down, and I was so happy doing that.
It
If
was
you
really, really good.
if you haven't seen it, you should go look for it. And if you don't follow me, you should already be following both of us and share it with people. But the premise was there's a guy, me, back squatting in a gym, and an angel shows up and congratulates him because he finally finished fitness. And he
He
gets
did
a
it.
completion of fitness certificate and is ushered out of the gym because there's nothing else to do. The
Right.
joke being that is actually impossible because no one's ever done. I wish you
Right.
had seen me when I was halfway through filming it and went, oh, I need a certificate, and ran back inside to try and go to a certificate website and print out like a preview.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
What? Should I get a trophy? Should I go find a trophy shop? No, that's too much. Trophy's too much. The certificate will be good. That'll read on
Right.
camera.
Right. Hilarious.
Um, Also, so like focusing on the wins, focusing on being good enough, kind of competence being a big win.
Yep.
Potentially, and this may or may not be part of it depending on what's going on, but sometimes we are faced with a bit of an identity crisis. If
Yeah.
someone has, they had a major injury, they've come back and they're, 90% plus of where they were before, which was amazing. And no one thought they would be able to do that, but they're not 100%. And they aren't
Yeah.
able to do some amazing things they used to be able to do. That can be a real challenge for some people, especially if that movement or sport or modality or whatever was a big part of their identity.
Yeah. Yeah. This can be really tricky, particularly if you're like a competitive athlete or
Yeah.
some portion of your livelihood or social group hinges on you being able to do this thing.
Yeah, 100%. And it's certainly if it's part of your profession, it's very, very hard. But
Yeah.
even if you go to the gym and you have your gym social group and you are the strongest and fastest person
Yeah.
and you get hurt and you go through this whole journey and you're able to come back to the gym and you're able to work out again and you're able to like do stuff everyone else is doing, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not the strongest or you're not the fastest. You're good.
Yeah.
You're just not otherworldly. Also, other people have had 6 months to get a jump on your progress. And it
Right.
can feel like, I've lost a step and I'll never be back where I was and I've lost so much, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't necessarily inaccurate. Like, I don't want to paint that as a loss that doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
helping people find other ways that they can identify, like kind of grow and create more facets in their identity is
Mm-hmm.
really hard. And often, frankly, like I do think it is partly a coach's job. This can also be
Yeah.
the kind of thing where you call in a mental health professional or someone like that
Totally.
who's potentially better equipped for some aspects of those conversations.
Totally. I can see this applying to many postpartum.
Oh, 100%. Huge. Like, talk about an identity shift,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And particularly, like, if you spent any amount of time on social media, certainly you've seen the outlier where somebody is back to doing the extremely impressive
Yeah.
thing that they could do before they got
4
pregnant
weeks
at
postpartum, they have an 8-pack.
right.
You're like, huh,
And
okay.
you're like, and then too, to see like all the comments of, well, why can't my wife, 5 years after children, blah 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 blah. And it can be really easy to start to resonate with that
Yep.
type of like, does my husband think that? Like, I don't look the same way that I did before I created people that carry his name. Um, does he think that this is true? And it can be, like, really, really tricky.
100%. And also that there's, and we've talked about this a bit, but that identity shift of like, oh, now I'm a mom. Does that mean
Yeah,
I'm not these other things I used to be? Am I
right,
am I quote unquote only a mom now and not also like a badass bitch and someone who runs fast and someone who likes doing all these other things that were important to
right,
me? Is that still important to me? Is it allowed to be important to me? Like, am I a bad person if I still want to do these things? Like, all of that can be incredibly challenging.
right. Yeah. I dealt with this, more so with Jack Jack than I did with Walter. Because with Walter, I was back at the CrossFit gym at, like, between 6 and 8 weeks postpartum, um, not doing exactly the same thing, but, like, at a year postpartum, I was
Yeah,
doing bar
right
muscle
back.
ups and lifting close to what I'd consider top ranges for me, whereas that did not happen with Jack Jack. And it was very, very difficult
Yeah,
to unpack and to start to detach myself from this person who had existed at one point, right? Like we've
yeah,
talked about before that we don't care about somebody's maxes from more than 6 months ago, right?
yeah,
Like, cool, that's sick. If like you want to put that on a picture and hang it up somewhere as like a look what I did, but we're not going to compare yourself to that person anymore because you're not that person anymore.
100%. It's really hard. So I think the short takeaway from this is that the quote unquote rehab or rebuilding process or comeback or whatever you think of it as isn't complete when the pain is gone. It's really
Yeah.
complete when the fear is gone. A better way I like looking at it is we're not after eliminating pain, we're after confidence.
Yeah.
If you are
Totally.
confident you can do fill in the blank, we're good. If
We're
you're
good.
not sure, no matter how many tests and assessments you and I can both run and say on paper, no,
Mhm.
look, it's like you filled in all the boxes and you did the
Well,
stuff.
yeah,
Like
but it just
you can
I
do
don't know, it
this.
doesn't
But if you can't make yourself jump in the pool because you're terrified you're
right.
going to drown, it doesn't matter. And we aren't
It
there
doesn't
yet,
matter.
and that's okay. So for coaches,
Right.
like listen, be empathetic, graded exposure, and be ready to be really patient. People who get injured, whatever clients, athletes, members, etc., one of the best things you can do is talk about it. Like
Yeah.
expressing the fear and hesitation and lack of confidence and the things that you're worried about will, first of all, help other people do the same, because there's
Mm-hmm.
lots of people standing around afraid and not sure if they can do things. And
Uh-huh.
two, it's one of the best ways to let people like Weezy and myself help you really effectively if where we
Mm-hmm.
know where those problems are. We can watch you
Right.
move. We can collect all kinds of data, but marrying that data with the emotional side of things is really, really, really important. And the more you're willing to be a little bit vulnerable and share that, the recovery process will actually be more effective and efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's one thing that I say to clients before we decide to start working together, right? Like we've collected all of our information, we're aligned on the journey, we know where we're going, we know how we're going to start getting there, like we know roughly how long it's going to take. Before any funds change hands, we go over a couple of agreements. And one of them is that, hey, you agree that if you don't tell me, I don't know, which sounds really, really simple on paper. But my only ambition here is to support you to getting to what you said is important to you.
Mhm.
Right. And if something comes up, whether it's fear or discomfort or schedule changes or priority changes or financial changes or stress at home, these things might impact our journey. If you don't tell me, I don't know. And so I might set up you to have a peak week on a week that your kid has a recital at school and you're going to have to be doing a bunch of extra shuttles and you have to finish up their costume. And oh, by the way, your partner's in Boston for the week and you're really fucking stressed out and you're not sleeping as well because, of course, the other kiddo has croup or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then you go to set up to max out your back squat and you absolutely don't do it well.
And it's not great.
It's not great, right? If you don't tell us, we don't know, which sounds so simple on paper, but
Mhm.
it can be really easy to be like, well, I don't want to bother them with that. Like I can just figure it out.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
if you've paid for a professional, bother them.
Yeah. And especially you made the point earlier about coaches not being good at this. Like, try not to decide what is relevant and what isn't. Just give me the
Yeah,
information.
right,
This is coming up. This is my schedule. This is what I'm worried about. I don't know if that's reasonable or not. And this is happening. Because
right,
sometimes, even just having that perspective, but especially through a professional lens, I can say, oh, well, if that's true, we should actually, I see several potential stumbling blocks here. We should maybe change our whole approach for the next 3 weeks because there's
right,
5 ways this could go wrong. So why don't we avoid those and
right.
sort it out, as opposed to you filtering the information, only giving me the nuggets you think I need and
Hmm.
leaving stuff out because you didn't realize how relevant it was.
Right. Important call out.
How would you feel about doing a segment?
I feel excellent about doing a segment. I've
Great.
pulled a card from your hat on this one.
Uh-oh.
Our segment today is called Pick the Real Product.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So one is a real product name, and the other is some shit I made up.
This sounds familiar. I like it.
And so I'm going to give you the category of
Cool.
product and then two names, and you're going to tell me which one is real.
So it's an either or.
It's an either or.
Great. My chances are
That's right.
just rose.
No, I'm going to give you a real one and some shit I made up.
Got it. Okay.
And you have to pick which one is real.
Understood.
So you have a 50-50 shot
I will take it.
on each of them. Are you ready?
I believe so.
Our first category is weight vest. We have you're going to hate all of them, by the way.
Great.
That's also intentional.
I have gathered already.
In the category weight vest, we
Right.
have Granny Strong or Omorpho.
Oh boy. Granny strong or morpho. Or morpho kind of doesn't mean anything, but that could also be like an Amazon whatever weight vest. Granny strong is like niche. I can picture the like you can get it in light blue or pink and it weighs 4 pounds. I think I'm gonna go with Omorpho because it's so meaningless. I think that's real.
That is correct.
Yeah.
You are right. In the category of diuretic. I told you you're going to hate every single one of these. We have Bum X or Shedzor.
Jesus.
One of them is real.
I think Shedzor is a Pokemon and Bum-X is real.
God damn it. 2 for 2. In the category of compression sock, we have Feet Squeezies or Dr. Segal's energy compression socks.
I think you made up Feet Squeezies. Because that just sounds like
correct.
you talking.
In the category of red light therapy, we have the Sun Home or the Flow State Red.
Ooh, okay. Less obvious. The Sun Home is stupid, but Flow State Red is also stupid. I think Sun Home is stupider, so I think you made up Flow State.
Damn it. That's correct. I did make up Flow State Red.
I mean, the lesson so far is that you should be naming stuff because you're better at it.
I should be naming stuff. In the category of coffee enema,
Okay.
we have organic enema Happy Bum Beans or Expelma 100.
So I think I know, but Happy Bum Beans really threw me off because now I'm picturing suppositories as opposed to an enema, which is different, but Expelma sounds like a Harry Potter spell, so I think you made that up.
Damn it! So good. So good. Okay, we have 3 more. In the category of firming lotion, we have Snatched SQ or the Sculptor.
Could SQ stand for anything? I don't know a ton about like firming dermatologist stuff. I'm just going through like it's not retinol. It's not. Oh wait, there's a Colonol Q. It's CQ. What's SQ? I don't know that SQ is anything. But the Sculptor sounds more like a toy or a thing than a lotion. So I think you made up Sculptor.
You are incorrect.
Ugh.
That is your first one wrong. 2 more. In the category of pelvic trainer, we have Hello Cake or or Vasquez.
Wow. So they're both really good. I think of Hello Cake as more of a glute trainer than a pelvic trainer. Not that they're not related, but and Vasquez is very funny. If you combine Vasquez with Sculptor, you could really have something there. I'm honestly not confident, but I think you made up Hello Cake.
You are incorrect. Hello Cake is the real product. You are 5 for 7 at this point. We have an 8th. So at this point, either way, majority winner.
Let's see.
In the category of ice bath.
Oh boy.
The Polar Tub 2.0 or the Plunge Box.
Man, that could really go either way. Polar Tub 2.0 is so generic, but Plunge Box isn't better. Plunge Box also sounds like a toy. If you combine Plunge Box and Vasquez, you could really develop something.
The Hello Cake Plunge Box now with extra the Sculptor tech.
Yes. Now we've completely earned the explicit tag on Spotify. I think you made up the Plunge Box.
You are incorrect.
God damn.
I made up the Polar Tub 2.0. So you're 5 for 8.
That's barely passing. That's a 62%.
Well, I think that's the first time that you've got 5 in a row correct.
I was on a run there. And to be honest, Vasquez sounds like you, but Hello Cake was just so nonsensical.
You're like, no way. That can't be real.
Yeah.
That can't be real. I'm still really hung up on organic enema Happy Bum Beans.
Yeah.
That is a product. You could buy it, but
Uh,
don't.
I don't think we should. We are not going to be doing an Odd Pod review of diuretics. That would be like a real Chekhov's gun. We're just like, all right, we're both going to take a triple dose of something and see whoever has to end the recording first, like, owes something. And it would be awful. Zoom out and I'm just standing in a room covered in newspaper. I've made an awful decision, but I'm not losing.
This reminds me of this was years ago that I read about this story, but somebody taking a proctored exam that it was remote. It was during the pandemic.
Okay.
And so like sitting in front of a computer, cannot leave the room, and realizes that she's about to have diarrhea and like cannot leave this room for any reason while the exam is going on. And so instead decides to like scoot the chair out from under her and like stay in a squatted position and just like have diarrhea on the ground, forgetting that there was a mirror behind her.
What a twist. Oh my Lord. Oh my God.
So I imagine that if we were to do something like that, that would potentially be the result. I will not leave this room. I will not forfeit my winnings. I will do something foul.
I heard a story once. I was not any part of this. It was like a person who knew a person told me this. And it was some like frat type bar. One of them, it was on Long Island. And they would have these penny beer nights. And they called it something terrible, but it was like a leg squeezer or a bladder buster. They were bladder buster nights. And the deal was beers were a penny until the first person used the bathroom. I'm going to blow your mind and tell you that this drew overwhelmingly men.
Right.
And the rule kind of was a guy couldn't be the first one to go to the bathroom because people would get really angry at him. So it had to be a woman because people wouldn't scream and shout and threaten to beat a woman up. Because apparently there's still some honor in the world.
Sure.
But there
in
was
Long
a
Island,
collection
anyway.
of people who would really have to go to the bathroom, but not want to be the first one to go. So they would sidle up real close to the bar and be talking to the bartender with one hand. And underneath the bar, terrible things were happening. And they were just pissing on a bar in a crowded place. Because
that's foul.
They're animals.
That's
that. I was like, what's wrong with you? What? And these weren't like, I don't know what an acceptable age to do that would be. They weren't 2-year-olds. They were like, 19-year-olds. You're like, oh my Lord.
Oh my God.
Really.
Oh my God.
Incredible. And, and I think everyone knew what was happening. And the fact that everyone was still there,
and oh yeah, we're
pigs
just
in
in
squalor. Like,
right.
What have we come to? Why is this okay?
Right.
How are you?
Yeah. That's also how I feel when I go into a kiddie pool these days. It's like, oh.
Yeah, you should be concerned.
I know that this is like overwhelmingly pee, so I'm going to be over there.
Yep. I am going to try and avoid going in and wash very well afterward and definitely not put my face in. That's right.
Don't touch me, my small child. Please.
Yeah, go away. Running toward the shower before Jack can get to you. Like, no! Pressure washing him.
Right. That feels like a good place to close.
Pressure washing your children? Yeah, I feel like that's it. We're not going to top it.
Team, this has been Training Partners. I'm Weezy Shoemaker. That's Justin McClintock. We'll see you next time.
Later, gang.
Here come your training partners, so smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to shine.